There's no value for Muslims anymore. You know, when they kill us, they don't even use a bullet anymore, because a bullet's too expensive. Our blood is cheap. Don't waste a bullet on a Muslim. Wherever you look, ضُرِبَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الذِّلَّةِ, indignity is smashed upon us. And when people do call for revivalism, فَهَؤُلَاءِ إِرْهَابِيُّونَ, they are terrorists. What is terrorism? What is freedom of speech? The Sharia teaches you that to gain your rights, to live under the banner of Islam. That is the biggest thorn at the moment in our da'wah, is hudud Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How should the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be implemented? That's the biggest debate that exists amongst us, because many of us in our hearts are following the da'wah of modernization. That can the hudud of Allah be implemented in the 21st century? Is it possible? Is it really applicable in Western society today that the Sharia will come? Will it come? People of Sunnah say that, will it come? How will it come? هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. He is the one who sent his messenger with huda, with guidance and the right deen, to prevail over all other ways of life. If you don't believe that in your heart, you've already lost. You have already lost. You don't believe that in your heart, that Islam is going to be victorious. Islam will always be victorious. People will not be victorious. Kalimatullah hiya al-ulya. The word of Allah subhanahu will always be supreme. And if you go away from the message of Islam, Allah subhanahu will create a new form of people who will love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu will love them. And it's indignity which has been thrown upon so many of these people. The only way these people come out of this indignity, or how they alleviate themselves, and unfortunately many Muslims have begun to do this as well, is through the concept of suicide. You know, you think dunya gives you great things. The Scandinavian countries, the highest annual income in the whole world. The average wage in this country at the time when I was researching, some £18,000 a year. The average wage in the Scandinavian countries is £36,000 a year. The highest standard of living, of commodities, blonde haired, blue eyed, yet the highest rate of suicide exists in this country. And even this country, 5,755 people committed suicide in the year 2003. And these people boast this is the lowest number since 1973. So they talk about freedom of life and the so-called quote unquote great United States of America. There's a famous Arab proverb, fix your own home before you fix someone else's home. They enter Muslim land and say, we've come there to alleviate you, give you freedom, give you democracy, give you a way of life. Go home and rectify your own home. More than 30,000 people in United States of America commit suicide on an annual basis. And they say that's a moderate number. You know, Bush talks about a way of life. Got to give the people in Iraq liberation. Got to take the shabab out of what they're doing. Look at your own shabab. 1 in 3 American teenagers have contemplated committing suicide. 1 in 3. in your own country. You've got nothing to give us. And you talk about freedom of life when you're suffering these problems in your own land. Every 17 minutes, someone commits suicide in the United States. Every 17 minutes. And so far, probably 3 or 4 people, whilst I've been lecturing, have committed suicide. And they've come in to alleviate Muslims. You want to give us something? What is there that you can give Muslims? What is there that you can give us? Give us a better road? That road is only developed for your own purpose. Al-Dhahabul Aswad, the black gold. And you know what the black gold is? All of these wars is not a war on terror. It's a war on possession of Muslim property. Many of us are sleeping. Don't get into siyasa. Don't get into politics. Don't get involved in this. Wake up and begin to understand world politics or what is happening in the Muslim globe at the moment. They don't mind you sitting here making dhikr. They don't mind you reading salah. They don't mind you even memorizing the Quran, as long as you don't understand the Quran, as long as you don't call towards the Quran and the implementation of the Quran. So do as much of that as you want, because your da'wah will just become like the Sufiya. But when you believe in a real struggle in raising your people and in raising the Sharia, then you become dangerous. We're all fundamentals, because we all believe in the return of the Sharia. And the return of the Sharia will give them peace and tranquility. And I've said this many times. I'm not a dreamer, and I don't dream. But history has testified, when the Sharia was implemented, non-Muslims lived under our rule better than the way you treat them today. That's a fact. You call us anti-Semitic. You say you hate al-Yahud. Billahi alaykum, that when Jews were persecuted, where did they run to? They fled to Al-Andalus. They fled to Al-Maghrib, where the Jewish community still lives there today. We did not kill 6 million Jews. We didn't kill them. You're the ones that got blood in your hands. You have to apologize to them. We don't have to apologize to no one. We did not take down the Twin Towers. You yourselves took them down. So in your disguise and war and terror, you will kill your own people because you don't care about them. If there's anybody that does care about humanity, then that is Maqasid Sharia. Read it in great detail. The purpose of the Sharia is Hifdul Insan, is preservation of humanity. That's what Islam will give them. We will preserve Muslims and non-Muslims. And if somebody commits atrocity who is living under the Sharia, and a person has given the jizya, that is paradise for them on this world. That if Muslim commits atrocity towards them, the Sharia says you have to take the side of the non-Muslim. That's what our deen says. So we're not against no one. The only thing that we want is the coming back of paradise on this world once again, for both Muslims and non-Muslims at the same time. And we can continue to quote the artificial happiness that people live in at the moment. That 26 million people in this country are in a state of depression. In a state of depression, 26 million. This government, from spending £100 million, is now spending £381 million on controlling depression in this country. Everything of these people that they possess becomes a punishment for them, a trial for them. Their wealth, their children, everything. It is only the believer with the correct perception. Wealth becomes a blessing. Children become a blessing. Qurrata a'yun become coolness and tenderness of the eyes. كما ذكر إمام السيوطي في تفسير الدر المنثور. What does it mean? قرة أعين, coolness of your eyes. In this dunya first, your children become a blessing for you. Their children don't care about them. Their wealth doesn't care about them. Everything is taken away from these people. So the real paradise is what we are calling to. That all of us need to believe that living in this dunya, take from the dunya that which is correct, leave that which is false, and seek from the wealth of the dunya to get closer to the akhirah. And develop a consciousness of the akhirah.